So, I want to give you just one example out of thousands, maybe tens of thousands of examples I can give you to show you how insane the world is, how mad the world and people have gone. Just one example. If we're somebody that can think logically and we can think for ourselves, and we're being honest with ourselves and not being in denial here, this one example is a clear-cut indicator to show you how insane the human race really is. You have scientists and other, I don't know exactly what to call them, the specific, name to call them, but they're talking about going to Mars to bring life on Mars. Why would you ever want to bring life to another planet? Why? Let's think about this just for a couple seconds. Before I give you the answer, I want everybody just to assume in their head. I want everybody to think of an answer that they would give to what I just said. I'll give 3 more seconds. The reason I say this is because all life on this planet, even though life is beautiful, even though creatures are fascinating and mysterious, and there's things that we look at and go, wow, we're amazed by them. Yes, there's all of those things, but when you really think about it, just for us to be amused to go to a zoo to see a gorilla in a cage, or a rhinoceros, or a polar bear, or a giraffe, or a monkey, or whatever, that's going back and forth all day. And these animals, this really happens. These animals literally go insane in these cages. Well, actually, they go sane because they realize, I'm in a cage. I don't want to be in a cage to amuse people. To go, oh, look at the monkey. Look at the giraffe. Look at the ape. But are we thinking of that thing? Are we thinking of that sentient being? No, we're not thinking of that sentient being. We're just thinking about us. We're just thinking about having our feelings stroked, our sense of we are important, and look at this thing. Look at this thing. And what I wanted to say is, before I got into that, is the answer to the question that I just said. Now, how many people answered something like, well, why wouldn't you put life on Mars? Why wouldn't you put an ecosystem on Mars? Why wouldn't you want to do that? Here's why you do not want to do this. This is why it's insane to do this to sentient life, life that feels, life that has a nervous system, that when it gets eaten alive, it can feel getting eaten alive. You know what it is? You know what the answer is? Because monsters eat other monsters. That's what nature is. It's monsters eating other monsters. That's all that it is. That's all that nature is. Even in its wonder and its horrible glory. See, I call everything in life the horrible glory because there's a horrible side to it and there's a glorious side to it. And they're all on the side of the same coin. But when you're talking about sentient creatures, sharks are at the top of the food chain. Whales eat little planktons. Lions eat gazelles and monkeys, and the lizards eat monkeys. The kimono dragons eat monkeys and pigs and wild boar. Things eat insects. Lions eat, all kinds of things. Water buffalo, alligators eat water buffalo, zebras. If you watch videos on this stuff and you see how a zebra gets its face torn off, literally, and then they're drowned to death for that animal to eat. And you see this time and time again. You see the pelican or the bird swallowing the rabbit whole. When that rabbit gets swallowed, it's suffocating to death before it dies. It's something that is feeling something before it dies. And why would we, for the life of us, for the sanity of things that feel, why would we ever want to do such a thing? Let Mars be Mars. Let whatever is out there be whatever is out there. We're here on Earth, and there's things here. We're talking about going somewhere else and doing something on the moon or Mars, and we haven't even started. We haven't even started to look at things here, honestly. We haven't even begun to take a look at the people in the mirror here. See, this is the problem with our world, is that everybody is projecting shit. Nobody's looking back at themselves and saying, what am I doing here? Like, am I creating suffering, or am I causing as less of it as I possibly can? Am I just obliviously going through life being ignorant and gullible and just going by what everybody's going by because everybody's going by it? Or am I taking a look into it for myself? Am I reflecting on what I'm doing, on the things I'm saying, on the way that I'm living, the way that I'm reacting to things? And see, it seems like in our world today, right when you say something that gets to the point of reality or authenticity or something that is actually real, and people that are in denial, it causes them to react irrationally. You see? And then in order to defend that irrationality, they will have something to say to you, or they'll just say all these things that come to their mind, all because they don't understand what they don't want to tell themselves, what they don't want to know for themselves. And this is the problem of our world. It's like a literal plague going around right now. It's a literal accountability plague. It's a literal people just going by their emotions plague. It's a literal, oh, well, Yeah, let's have a cookout, and we need 50 cows to feed everybody. Nobody's thinking about the animals that are getting killed. Nobody's thinking about that. Nobody's thinking about the sentient creatures that are literally suffering and dying and getting killed every day. Oh, that's just those creatures. That's just those pigs, those cows. And I know people that eat meat. Listen, I don't care if I don't care how people feel about this. If you eat meat, you eat meat. I know there are a ton of you out there to eat meat. I can't stop anybody from eating meat. And I'm not trying to stop anybody. I'm just spreading the awareness because that's all I can do. Now, do I call my own hypocrisies out? Yes, because there was a time, I'm not eating meat right now, and I made up my mind I'm done with meat. I'm not eating meat no more because I can't take the fact that I am eating the dead meat of an animal that was viciously and cruelly killed to fill my stomach. I just can't do it anymore. And my own hypocrisy is I would eat meat once in a blue moon. See, that was my justification to say, oh, well, it's already at the store. It's already in a beef jerky wrap. It's already in a sub. It's already at McDonald's. They're already killing them. So let me go to Mickey D's and get a sausage egg McMuffin, a steak and egg bagel, and whatever, and some orange juice. That's cool. It's not me the one getting killed. So what do I care? I'm just going to go to Mickey D's and get 20 hamburgers and, whatever. And nobody cares. Literally, nobody cares. Nobody cares that sentient beings are suffering here. Nobody cares that they keep bringing children into the world, and some of these parents can't even take care of the one child or the two child, let alone 3 or 4 or however many they bring here. It is absolute insanity. It's insanity 101. It's madness. It's madness when you really realize what humans are doing here. When you really see behind the veil and the veil is lifted, which people that come on this platform and they really listen for themselves and they're not in denial and they're facing the facts of reality. See, don't hate me, hate reality, hate the truth, hate what is really real. Don't hate me for saying this stuff. I'm just a guy that knows this because I've looked into it and I've seen what it really is. You see? And I know people, they don't like knowing. They don't like knowing stuff because they don't want to change it. They don't care that things are suffering. They don't care. And most people will turn the video off because they want to stay that way. They want to remain in their ignorance because ignorance is bliss. It really is. I said that quote was bullshit, but you know what? I would rather say, instead of saying ignorance is bliss for, how can I say this? Ignorance is bliss for people that remain doing the same thing, even if they know that it's wrong, even if they know that it's hurting something, even if they know that we're doing this thing because we're humans and we think we're better than the animals and we're better than everything. We're not better than anything. We're all a part of this atmosphere. Everything under the sun, everything in our hemisphere, we are, and we're no more important than animals or grass blades or rocks or anything. And this is what non-duality teaches people. But see, Most people might not even know about non-duality or what non-duality is. Everything is one in all in all, one. There is no me or you. When you really think about it, and we're getting really honest, there's no me, there's no you, there's no them. We just use these words as a way to label one another. And this is why I told you labels are dead. Revolution is alive. Revolution of awareness is alive. And I ain't never gonna stop doing this. I am never gonna stop doing this. I am the Malcolm X of my day. I am the Martin Luther King of my day. I am the John Lennon of my day. I am the Osho of my day. I am the Charles Bukowski of my day. I am those guys, but yet again, they were all in and of itself the same thing. They just recognized it. They realized it because they heard someone like me out there that told them these kinds of things. See, and they weren't in denial of things. They took things how they really were, and they spread things how they really were. Now I know from me going to these scientists wanting to put life on Mars, and it's just, if you support this, what you support is you support more suffering. That's what you're supporting. You're supporting monsters eating monsters. See, listen, if you haven't listened to In Mend Ham or Gray Touch Zero, I think it is, I have them on my channel, on my subscribers list, the people I'm subscribed to. Go to Gray Touch Zero and INMENDHAM, in Mendham. See, most people won't even watch these videos. They won't even give it a chance to consider even listening to one video to say, okay, just let me listen to it and let me actually listen. You see, let me leave all of my extra baggage, let me leave all of my junk at the door and come in with an open mind. Because see, in order for us to understand, in order for us to have true knowledge, in order for us to be aware of things, we have first got to crush the conditioning in our mind. We have first got to kind of, how can I say this? We have got to be confronted with things that we do not want to hear. And that's what nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to get into any confrontation with things. Nobody wants to sit and actually speak to the people out there and get raw and rugged and get into the filth of things. See, that's what nobody wants to do. And then what do we do when we don't want to do that? When we want to stay in denial and we just want to, live in ignorance is bliss and eat the steak with the wine like Cypher. I'm uploading a video right now. I don't know if this is going to upload first or that's going to upload first. But we do not want to know, because that allows us to stay in our ignorance. And I ask myself, there's nothing I can do for other people to actually put forth the effort into understanding these things. I can't I can't make anybody get this. I can't make anybody accept this for themselves. I can't say, hey, don't go to McDonald's or support McDonald's. I can't say, you know, if you're a hunter, don't go hunting and shoot animals. I can't say those kinds of things. People are going to do what people do. But once you realize how cruel we really are, once you realize the suffering that goes on in this world, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of beautiful things. There is, you know, the art and a craft and building and planting, you know, seeds and a garden and just there's so many things here. Like I said, it's the horrible glory. I call it horrible glory, the horrible glory. Because we're talking about the worst of the worst of the worst, and then we could be talking about something that is amazing, something that is all the things opposite to the worst. And it's, you know, it's just like the saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You see, what we do, what we've been conditioned to do is we have been conditioned to label everything and everyone. And when someone thinks that they're ugly, they have it in their mind that other people think that they're ugly. But who is to say who is ugly and who is beautiful? Who is to say this thing from this thing or this thing from that thing? The person to say, not the between beautiful and ugly, but the person that can explain what's really going on here, the horrible glory, is someone that understands the horrible glory. And see, I am one of them people. I am one of them philosophers. I am one of them people that understand these topics better than a world that doesn't want to understand. People that want to remain ignorant. People that want to stay gullible. People that want to keep going by the agenda being pushed out here. You see what I'm saying? And I can't do anything for them. I can't do nothing for them. And I honestly, I care that I'm doing what I'm doing and spreading the awareness, but I honestly, besides them harming sentient life, besides them destroying something or harming someone else, I don't care what people do with themselves. I don't care what people are doing in their spare time. I do not care at all because I can only live my own life. I can only live my own life. And that's why the person listening to this, you can only live your own life. You are the only one that can make the choice. See, you are the only one that can make the shift in the paradigm here. You are the only one that can take the action to stop or keep going. You are the only one that can press the button or just say, oh, I'm not messing with that. You're the only one that can do that. See, but we're too worried about projecting. If I do this, what's he gonna think? If I do this, what's she gonna think? If I say this, what are they gonna think? If I spread this message, oh, well, somebody might find out that I'm listening to that guy. Do you see the fear mentality, the control mentality, the mentality of we're not willing to get real. We're not willing to get out of denial. We're not willing to do the things that we should be doing. We should be doing this as people. We should be doing this as humans. And this is what makes me sick is humanity's actions, is the way that most of humanity, I'm not saying every little thing, I'm saying most of humanity and the way they go about thinking of things, the way they go about acting, the way they go about reacting, the way that they go about getting irrational about stuff. This is the problem, and this is the problem I have, and this is the problem that people out there like you should have. We should be ashamed. We should be bothered by what is going on here. If we're not bothered, there is a huge disconnect. There's a huge disconnect there if we're not bothered by the state of this world. If we're not bothered by seeing people in other countries or wherever having 4 or 5 kids and then they can't feed the kids, there's something wrong there. There's a lack of knowledge there. See, if I see someone just for no reason torturing an animal and I can do something about it, I'm not going to let it sit there and watch somebody do that. If I see somebody raping a woman and it's 5 guys, I don't give a shit if it's 5 guys. I'm stepping in. Hey, I might get messed up. I might get beat up. I might get beat to death. Who knows? I don't know. But see, we need to start standing for something here. Standing for something instead of sitting around and hoping, sitting around and dreaming of things, sitting around and just letting everything happen how it happens, sitting around and doing absolutely nothing, like nothing at all. We have got to see that if we are doing absolutely nothing in our lives, we are literally our own problem if we're doing nothing. I mean, the least that anybody can do is press the share button and share this to somebody else. The least somebody can do is hit the thumbs up button. The least someone can do is say something about something. The least someone can do is support the channel. The least someone can do is the least someone can do. But some people don't even want to do that. Some people don't even want to do the least of the least of the least. And we ought to be sickened by ourselves. We ought to be bothered by this. Go on Mars and bring life there, create a ecosystem. And I was gonna get into, but I'm not gonna get into this. There's someone that I listen to, and he says a lot of things that I agree with. He says a lot of things that I agree with. But there's also a ton of hypocrisy of this man, Jordan Peterson. Now I see that he's all over the place. He's all over YouTube. He has, a lot of subscribers. People listen to what he says, and he does have a lot of things that are very relatable to the world and what's going on. But I don't even think he realizes how much of a hypocrite he is with some of the things that he's saying. He talks about things like, well, what are we doing to cause as least suffering as possible? But yet he's on an all beef diet. He eats killed cows every day. How many cows will Jordan Peterson eat in his lifetime? How many cows will Michaela Peterson eat in her lifetime? Eat, 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 eat. Survive, 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 survive. It's all about me. I'm the special one here. It's just not that way. It's just not that way. And see, these are the things that we cannot run away from. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what we say to justify it. There is literally no running away from the facts of reality. And most people just don't want the cold, hard truth. They want the soft, cuddly, happy, optimistic, fairy tale, delusional rainbow truth, which isn't truth. They think that that's truth. They think that these people motivating them to go on a chicken and broccoli diet so you can get the big muscles and look cool and handsome for women. But how many chickens are being killed and eaten for that guy to get his muscles and look so cool on Instagram? How many chickens is it going to take? I mean, it's just absurd. It's literally chaotic and absurd. It's absurdism. And you cannot get away from this. There are light things and there are dark things. We all have a light and a dark side. But I say, let your light and dark shine in this world. But see, we have to expose our darkness. We have to expose our own hypocrisies. We have to expose the things that we do here, that we do. The man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror does. And this is where there's a disconnect. This is where there's a huge disconnect. Because when you're talking to people, they don't want to look back at themselves. They want to just blame you for everything. They want to just point the finger at everybody and everything. They just want to call you names and berate you and talk down upon you. You know, like Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. See, you can't make another person change their ways. They have to be willing to look back at themselves. And if they're not willing to do that, then they're going to remain to do all the things that I just said. They're going to be people like that. They're going to say, let's make more life on Mars. Let's eat more McDonald's. Let's have more kids here. You know, we already have one or two that we're struggling to take care of, but let's bring, another one and another one here. These people are not using their mind. They're not using their mind here. And this is another thing. Most of the world is just in denial. It's in flat denial. And how I see it, there is this is what In Mendham said. He said, it's not optimism, it's delusionary rainbow sickness. And that's what it is. That's what it is. I know we all have delusions, but this stuff it's got to stop. We have got to change the way that we think about these things. But see, when I say we got to do it, see, this will make the person that isn't even thinking about doing it or doesn't give a shit about it or ain't going to do a damn thing or they're going to take it somehow, they'll do the complete opposite. They'll do the complete opposite just to do it. Just to do it because someone else was telling them something that was right. If we're not ashamed of ourselves, if we're not bothered by what's going on here, if we're not taking a second to actually look at this and analyze the whole of the entire situation on this earth and what men have been doing for thousands of years, what the emperors have been doing, what men have been doing in the name of wars, in the name of money, in the name of profit, in the name of these absurdities that men and women are still following today. It's still going on. We still have not learned. We still have not learned. From the Neros, from the Julius Caesars, to the Crusades, to the Adolf Hitlers, to the just every single dictator, we still haven't learned. Now, I said this in my other video, and this is what I'm going to end it with. This is something that Adolf Hitler wrote. This is a quote he wrote. The more that you tell a lie to the people, sooner or later, they will believe it. The more that you tell a lie, keep telling people lies, telling people lies, telling people lies, you will sooner or later convince them, make them believe that it is the actual truth. So, where do we go from here? And anybody that is attempting to offend me or say whatever to me, you might as well hold your breath, because I don't even think about that stuff no more. You know, I would tell everyone, take that up with the man and the woman in the mirror. Don't take it up with me. Because I don't even matter. I don't matter at all. At all, at all, at all, at all. I'm just blood, bone, water, hair, teeth, tongue, eyes, whatever, a shirt. I'm just this, speaking this from what I've seen with all of this and the rest of the world. And I'm not in denial anymore. I'm not hiding anymore behind the veil of the mask and facade. I'm not hiding behind the wall. See, I'm not putting on the facade for people. See, that's why our energy is all fucked up. That's why our energy is not right, because a lot of the world is still on that energy instead of this energy. Instead of honest, clear cut, to the point, exposing ourselves for the things we do, looking into things, energy. See, it's an energy that resonates with those that are going to get it, and those that don't get it, they even know that this is right. They know that I'm correct. It's just they're playing their little game. They're playing their little ego and pride game, and they will not let it go. They will not face their own ego and pride. They will not face their own ignorance, because they're in bliss. Now, brothers and sisters, I give you a kiss. I know it might sound corny, but you know what? Sometimes, even in the seriousness, you gotta lighten up. But see, even when we say things like lighten up, oh, just lighten up, you take things too serious. See, that's just basically saying, oh, be gullible, be stupid, be dumb. Go eat 20 steaks. Go buy 50 gallons of wine. Go and fuck your brother's girlfriend. Who cares? Lighten up, man. You're too serious as a guy. You're too serious as a person. See, people think that somehow I hate life and living. I don't hate life. I just see what is fair. I see what is just. I see what is wrong with this place. And I expose those things because I'm looking at everything and projecting it back onto myself. What if I was that thing? What if I was the cow that is coming on your dinner plate every night? What if I was the fish being eaten by the shark? What if I was the guy in the jungle being ripped apart by the gorilla? What if I was the poor man on the corner that didn't have anything and no one paid him any mind? What if I was the one with cancer? What if I was the one? What if I was the one? What if I was in World War II and got bombs dropped on me? What if I got took out in the middle of the night and took to a death camp and stripped and got my hair cut and sprayed and then poisoned to death with Zyklon B from men that were following the agenda, men that were following the ignorance, men that were doing these things in the name of this absurdity that I'm talking about? I am disgusted by this. And if you're not disgusted, don't know what to tell you. But I know we need to take a look at the people in the mirror today. We're here, we're living, we're alive. Some of us didn't ask to be here. Some of us don't want to be here. Some of us might love life. Some of us might hate life. Some of us might be doing whatever we're doing. I don't know. I don't care. That's not my life. But I'm saying, if we're not looking at the person in the mirror, if we are not examining number one, then all of this out here that we're projecting on, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to get ugly. There's going to be way more suffering. There's going to be way more I'm special. Give me everything. It's about my feelings. It's about me. I'm going to step on all these ants so that I can get to the top of the hill because I'm a human being and I'm so special and I'm above all these other sentients and I can just eat them and slaughter them whenever I want to. You know, here's the thing. Here's what really should happen. I know this sounds very whatever, but just put yourself in the shoes of this thing. What if you were the pig going into the slaughterhouse and you knew that was going to happen to you? See, every person should be put in a position where they're absolutely scared to death and horrified, but not killed. Not killed. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not a violent person. But we should all be put in the shoes of someone that has went through something horrific or horrible, or someone that went through the death camps in World War II. Everybody should experience that for some time to know not to involve themselves, you see? Because those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it, and it keeps happening over and 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 over again. And I'm not going to explain what I mean, but let this be the last generation. Let this be the last generation. Do you want monsters to keep eating monsters? Do you want people to keep suffering over and over and over and over again? Do you want, let what does not exist stay non-existent? That's the best thing that can happen here. But even though we're alive, see, even though we're alive, I say let's do the best we can. Let's be as responsible and accountable as we can. Let us hold each other accountable for dumb, ignorant things. See, let us do what we can do without causing as much harm as possible while we're here. And if you're someone against that, then you are literally you're a murderer. You're literally the one that is the destruction. You're literally the one that is against the welfare of living beings. You're literally saying, I don't care. Off with them all. That's basically what you're saying. And what I'm saying is not that. It's not that. See, this is what the people that might not understand will do. They'll try to turn it around and flip it around and make me look like I'm the wrong one when they know. They know that this is right. They know. You know, let's stop playing this game. Let's let's stop with this foolishness. Let's stop with these abominations. Let's stop with this. You see, this is the awareness that I'm spreading. This is what I mean by when I'm saying SBN Revolution. I'm not talking about what people might think I'm talking about. I'm not talking about fighting people. I'm not talking about causing more harm. I'm not talking about going and protesting in the name of some thing that I just talked about, because none of that's all irrelevant. That's just, like I said, that's all a part of the agenda. And I'm not fighting for anything here. I'm not trying to save anyone, because nothing can be saved. They put the winning illusion in front of us. There's no winning. So let's lose with dignity. You see, let's prepare for the time we have, and let's also prepare for the day we will die, because we all have an expiration date. You know, let's live while we can, but also prepare now while we can, because we're all going to have our day. Whether you believe that there's a higher power, or you believe there's nothing, or whatever you think in your mind is irrelevant. It's, are we preparing? Are we thinking for ourselves? Are we being responsible for ourselves? Are we seeing these things? Or are we in denial? Are we just running away from everything? See, this, if nobody's asking these questions, if nobody's putting this out, if nobody's even confronting people like Jordan Peterson, see, nobody's going to confront him. Nobody's going to confront him, or confront some famous rapper, or confront somebody that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, or has, millions of views. Who's going to confront them people? They're all yes people. There's no people. No, I will not stand for that, but I will stand for this. I won't stand for that ignorance. I'll stand for this, though. See, we don't have hardly any of those people. Where are those people at? You see, we need more of those people here, and less of the other people that I'm talking about, because there's already too much of that in the world. So I'm going to end on that note. I didn't even want to make this video this long, but that's what's on my mind, and that's what I know is real, and that's what I know needs to be discussed, because who else is going to talk about it? Later.